One of the questions I get often is what are the things that I've learned from investing in so many companies, projects, and how does this apply to people like you who've got full time jobs, are busy working with other people all the time? My company, 8 of Innovation, invests millions of dollars primarily in artificial intelligence and blockchain companies. Roughly, we get about 70 to 90 companies a week approaching us for funding opportunities. So we see a lot of corporations or companies, CEOs like that. And there are three things that I've learned that I would recommend anybody to consider, especially when you're working with teams or you're looking to invest with a vendor or a customer. The number one thing that I learned in investing millions and millions of dollars in companies is money is a magnifier of people's character. I have seen people who are like, if you interviewed them 20 years ago, they were like the world's best, child a father or parent could want to have. They were the best brother like that. And when you give a human being, let's say $15 million cash, every character flaw shows up. And I've seen that as experience. Money is a magnifier of people's character. Second thing I've discovered is human beings, not always, but generally speaking, tend to be right rather than being vulnerable and correcting themselves. Bad analogy, but it kind of communicates this, is you see this in religion. There have been, over history, there have been lots of religious leaders who've gone to war for economic reasons, monetary reasons, and they put the religion as the advertising flyer on why people should go to war and lose their lives for. You see that a lot in corporations. The ego shows up where human beings, rather be right about their ego or about their opinion rather than stop and actually be vulnerable and truthful. Third thing I discovered out of investing in companies is human beings, when we get approached by CEOs, the CEO who's looking to put their time and expertise and in exchange looking for venture capital funding treats our hard-earned capital very differently than the CEO who is putting time and expertise, but they're also putting their house as a collateral, they're putting their savings as a collateral like that. When they have a lot, that CEO who's putting their house as a collateral, as example, or taking their savings, all the money they have out of their savings account and putting that as part of the transaction, that CEO treats our money very differently and is a lot more careful about the decisions they're making compared to a CEO who, they have the sense of kind of like, I don't know, it's an ego thing, it's a sense of entitlement that they have, that they think because they're putting the time and expertise into a project that they shouldn't treat our hard-earned capital carefully. Those are the three things that I discovered out of investing in a lot of companies over the past few years. How this relates to people who are busy like you is when you go to your next meeting, when you're working your next project, whatever it is that you're up to, whatever strategies you want to deploy in your company, you might consider I'm sure you've seen colleagues who all of a sudden they get a promotion, right? Going back to point number one, money is a magnifier of people's character. Sometimes when there's an opportunity for promotion, you will see colleagues, especially if there's a CEO role, do things that, the outside person might kind of like nod their head on. But I've seen that a lot. The second thing you might see, given the lessons that I learned in people rather being right versus being truthful, you may see that a lot in corporations. And it's a great way for you and for me, when we see that, to examine our own personal character and see, are there any points in our lives where we're trying to be right about something rather than being truthful. When I see that in a boardroom setting, I'm always consistently examining that within myself to kind of do a check-in for me. And then when it comes to companies or CEOs who are putting something at stake personally, when you work in a team, in a company, or in a meeting, and you see people have something personal at stake, your experience of working with them completely changes. I have a lot more funner time because the people I'm working with have skin in the game versus people that don't have skin in the game. It's just a very different working experience, different results gets to produce like that. I hope you found this information helpful. And we have a proprietary model or proprietary process that we screen for character. Do people have skin in the game? That we teach this in our mastermind groups when people want to co-invest capital with us, like that. And if you're interested in learning about our mastermind groups, please feel free to send me a direct message, and I'm happy to chat with you.